Hello and welcome to today's multiple choice music trivia quiz. There are 40 questions, each with 4 possible answers, and you'll only have a few seconds to decide before the answer is revealed. It's a real mix of easy and difficult questions, so feel free to pause at any point for more thinking time. But before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe for a bonus point. Good luck! You were working as a waitress in a cocktail bar is the opening line to which song? Don't You Want Me, Girls on Film, Sweet Dreams, or Tainted Love? And that was the opening line to Don't You Want Me by The Human League. Who has 10 US number 1s starting in 1986 with When I Think of You, up to 2001 with All For You? George Michael, Janet Jackson, Rick Astley, or Tina Turner? And that singer with 10 US number 1s is Janet Jackson. Permanent Waves, Moving Pictures and Signals were all albums released by who? Dire Straits, Guns N' Roses, Rush, or Van Halen? And they were all early 80s albums by Rush. Which of these Oasis songs did not top the UK charts? All Around the World, Don't Look Back in Anger, The Hindu Times, or Wonderwall? Surprisingly, Wonderwall only got to number 2 on the UK charts. Cuts Like a Knife, Reckless and Waking Up the Neighbours are all albums released by who? Bryan Adams, Neil Young, Rod Stewart, or Sting? And they were all albums released by Bryan Adams. Birds Flying High, You Know How I Feel is the opening line to which song? Feeling Good, Good Enough, Good Vibrations, or It Was a Good Day? And that is the opening line to Feeling Good, made famous by Nina Simone. Shape of You, Despacito and Look What You Made Me Do are all released in which year? 2015, 2016, 2017 or 2018? All 3 songs were released in 2017. Who released one of the best-selling songs of all time, It's Now or Never? Bing Crosby, Elton John, Elvis Presley, or Whitney Houston? It's Now or Never was by Elvis Presley from 1960, thought to be the 5th best-selling single of all time. Which Madonna song did not top the US Billboard Hot 100? Like a Prayer, Live to Tell, Material Girl, or Vogue? Spending 2 weeks at number 2 was Material Girl behind REO Speedwagon's Can't Fight This Feeling and then Phil Collins' One More Night. Who was the first female artist inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Aretha Franklin, Etta James, Janis Joplin, or Laverne Baker? All 4 artists have been inducted, but it was Aretha Franklin first at the second ceremony in 1987. What does DJ stand for? Dance Juicer, Delightful Jammies, Digital Jumper, or Disc Jockey? DJ is an abbreviation for Disc Jockey. Who was not a member of Nirvana? Dave Grohl, Chris Novoselic, Kurt Cobain, or Nate Mendel? A bit of a connection here, but Nate Mendel was never a part of Nirvana, though he does play bass in Dave Grohl's band Foo Fighters. Natural High, Night Shift and Midnight Magic were all albums released by who? The Commodores, Earth, Wind and Fire, Kool and the Gang, or The Temptations? And they were all albums released by the Commodores. Which album was not released by David Bowie? Aladdin Sane, Diamond Dogs, Electric Ladyland, or Hunky Dory? David Bowie didn't release Electric Ladyland, which was a 1968 album by the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain and Amy Winehouse all died at which age? 23, 27, 33 or 37? All those singers died at the same age and are now part of what is known as the 27 Club. Who released the album titled Dead Ringer in 1981? Diana Ross, The Go-Go's, Meat Loaf or Rick Astley? Dead Ringer was the second studio album for Meat Loaf. Which singer starred in The Bodyguard, Cinderella and Waiting to Exhale? Celine Dion, Phil Collins, Rick Astley or Whitney Houston? And starring in all three films was Whitney Houston. Who released a 1995 cover of It's Oh So Quiet? Ace of Base, Bjork, Europe or Robin? The 1995 cover was by Bjork, with a song originally from 1951 by Betty Hutton. Which composer started losing their hearing around 28 and was almost completely deaf by 40? Beethoven, Mozart, Tchaikovsky or Vivaldi? The composer who became deaf later in life was Beethoven. All the Leaves Are Brown and the Sky Is Grey is the opening line to which song? California Dreamin', Jolene, Surfin' USA or Venus? That is the opening line to the song California Dreamin', made famous by the Mamas and the Papas. Ernest Evans is the real name of which singer? Benny Hill, Chubby Checker, Elvis Costello or Perry Como? Ernest Evans is the birth name of Chubby Checker. Which of these is a brass instrument? Clarinet, flute, trumpet or violin? The brass instrument is a trumpet. Who was not one of the first three artists inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 1961? Fred Rose, Gene Autry, Hank Williams or Jimmie Rodgers? The answer is Gene Autry, who wasn't inducted until 1969. Which of these is not considered a Britpop band? Blur, Elastica, Sonic Youth or The Verve? As an American group, Sonic Youth are not considered a Britpop band. USA for Africa released the charity single We Are the World in which year? 1982, 1983, 1984 or 1985? We Are the World was released in March of 1985. The Bangles released Manic Monday in 1985, but who wrote the song? Bob Dylan, Cher, Paul McCartney or Prince? Manic Monday was written by Prince, and the song was ironically kept off the top of the charts by Prince's Kiss. Which Queen song did not top the UK charts? Bohemian Rhapsody, Innuendo, Under Pressure or We Are the Champions? It did reach number 2 in 1977, but We Are the Champions never got to number 1. Music Box, Daydream and Butterfly are all albums released by who? Adamant, Bon Jovi, Eurythmics or Mariah Carey? And they were all albums released in the 90s by Mariah Carey. What is the name of Nick Cave's band? The Attractions, the Bad Seeds, the Comets or the Magnetic Zeros? Nick Cave's band is the Bad Seeds. Which of these is a Billy Joel song? Candyman, Piano Man, Rocket Man or Starman? Billy Joel released the song Piano Man in 1973. Which is the best-selling album of all time? Back in Black, Dark Side of the Moon, Hotel California or Thriller? With over 51 million certified sales, Thriller is the best-selling album of all time. Flamenco music originates from which country? Australia, Brazil, Egypt, or Spain? Flamenco music began in southern Spain in the late 18th century. Speak and Spell, Violator, and Music for the Masses are all albums by who? Dandy Warhols, Def Leppard, Depeche Mode, or Duran Duran? These were all albums released by Depeche Mode. Which artist has a writing credit on Justin Bieber's 2015 hit Love Yourself? Calvin Harris, Ed Sheeran, Ellie Goulding, or Taylor Swift? Justin Bieber and Benny Blanco alongside Ed Sheeran all have writing credits on Love Yourself. You Can Tell by the Way I Use My Walk I'm a Woman's Man is the opening line to which song? How Deep Is Your Love, Night Fever, Staying Alive, or Tragedy? All Bee Gees songs, but that opening line was from Staying Alive. T-Boz, Left Eye and Chili were all members of which group? Destiny's Child, En Vogue, TLC, or Sugar Babes? T-Boz, Left Eye and Chili were all members of TLC. Robert Plant was the lead singer of which band? Aerosmith, Led Zeppelin, Lynyrd Skynyrd, or The Who? Robert Plant was the lead singer of Led Zeppelin. Who was not a member of the supergroup Travelling Wilburys? Bob Dylan, Eric Clapton, Jeff Lynne, or Tom Petty? Not a member of the Travelling Wilburys is Eric Clapton, with the other members George Harrison and Roy Orbison. Stefani Germanotta is the real name of which singer? Lady Gaga, Lorde, Pink, or Rihanna? Stefani Germanotta is the birth name of Lady Gaga. And finally, which album was not released by the Beatles? Abbey Road, Beggar's Banquet, Please Please Me, or Rubber Soul? And not a Beatles album is Beggar's Banquet, which was released in 1968 by the Rolling Stones. So that's the end of this multiple choice music quiz. Let me know in the comments how you got on and if there are any questions that caught you out. Thank you very much for playing along. Don't forget to like the video for that all important bonus point, and I'll see you again soon for another squiz.